This is Art, and in this video I'll show you how to install and configure Windows 7 with updates and patches with an antivirus software and other which you can need to configure Windows 7 with. First, you need to download the Windows 7 as a file along with Oracle BetterBox. I'll provide you both links in the description box below which you can download them. First, I'll go to my Virtual Machine software. In the case you purchase and you are using VMware Fusion, but in my case I use VirtualBox. But if you have time to register VMware Fusion or buy it, then I should be good to go. But for this video, I'm going to be using VirtualBox instead because I don't have any information or which I need to in order to use VMware Fusion. But I can find a few on the VMware Fusion, but I still need to just register it and do, use the software. Now in VirtualBox I'll click on New and then I'll type in my virtual machine name, which is Windows 7 64-bit, because I have a virtual machine labeled Windows 7, but for this tutorial, as I'm having a Windows 7 virtual machine, I'll type in as Windows 7 64-bit. Bit. I will select my ASA file. This is my ASA file, and then next. But you also need to select the edition if you have the ASA file compiled with all editions. I will select the Ultimate Edition 64-bit. And then next, I would type in my username, VirtualBox user. But wait, we're not going to enter the passwords. Okay, and I'll enable the guest editions also file in this case. I'll type in the password. I'll type in the password Windows. And then why it's not, why it is it's Windows 7 is, I'll type in Microsoft Windows 7 64-bit. Now it accepts, that's why I'll click on next, and then we'll leave it as 24 megabytes for the memory. Create a new hard disk, AVSD, okay, and then I would start to power on the virtual machine, and then I would be able to full screen this. Unlike Windows XP, which has manual installation, this is much more faster, easy to go and manage rather than Windows XP's method, which is considered No, it's still fast and reliable with only the keyboard shortcut, which is very simple and easy. Which is, I think that it is extremely simple, but it is, still slow at copying the files, etc. Especially on all the hardware, because you need to do specific workarounds to do it. I'll choose the Ultimate Edition pre-activated, and then next. From the start of the screen, you chose whichever edition you wanted to select. For example, you selected the Home Premium 64-bit or the 32-bit, depending on your architecture, or if you have virtualization technology enabled, you can do that. From the start of the setting, you selected your options. Now you need to select your option from here. I've chosen the Ultimate Edition 64-bit architecture edition of the Windows 7 operating system. I've selected that in the startup of the virtual machine. When I did that, when I powered on the virtual machine, it's probably with which edition to choose to install the operating system from. I have chosen the Ultimate Edition, the 64-bit version. From the startup screen of the virtual machine creation wizard, I need to select this edition and the architecture from this, select the operating system they want to install menu. Once done, click on next, and then click on checkmark this. I accept the license terms. Next, I will select the unallocated space to confirm the installation. But remember, it's not going to delete your host operating system. Instead, it will install onto the VHD storage disk. Now, I saw that video which said that keep in mind that it will not delete your host operating system, it will not do anything bad to your computer. I had that from the video which was focusing on installing Linux Mint on VirtualBox on Windows 11. I saw that. The reason why I'm copying that speech in this video is that because for you who are unaware that even a virtual machine does not do anything bad to happen, but you guys do not know what will happen to your computer. For you guys who know what virtual machine is, but who does not know what that is, who do not know, I have copied this that speech in this video because I wanted to notify you that nothing wrong will happen to your computer. Okay, instead it will only install on the virtual machine hard drive or the VHD hard disk. Now, VHD hard disk is a virtual storage drive, totally virtual. It does not have access to your host system. Instead, it has its own room for its own doors and its own space. Think of it as a door which you have on your hard drive. The hard drive is going to be acting as the host, and the VHD is going to be acting as the guest. Think of it. If you are confused and if you are still concerned, I'm going to share with you a topic right now. No, I'll share you an example right now, a scenario. And the VHD shares its own files and folders to its guest on the network, while the host shares the files and the folders, etc. on the network, separate by each. Now, again, nothing will happen to your computer, even if the virtual machine is only for installation inside the guest in a window which is floating on this host screen. Even with that, you should still be aware that it will And keep in mind that also that will not delete your host operating system, and you should not worry. You should be brave enough to understand this, important notice, which is sending you now. An example also as well, you should be brave enough to understand what it does and why your computer is not impacted. So that's why to keep in mind that. Once done, I'll click on next. My video is going to be very long, but that's okay. Now it's going to be copying the Windows files, and it's going to be copying, expanding the Windows files, installing features, updates, and complete installation. And there are other tasks that needed to be performed. And I'll pause this video and I'll stop this video. Then I'll continue on to the next bit, which we need to do, like configuring the OBE. Then I'll show you the next step. But the OBE did not feature in my video, but I'll still install the guest editions. Go to start, control computer. The next thing I need to do is we need to click on the VirtualBox post. Just to confirm, should be able to start. No, I need to install the guest editions. I'm using the 64-bit version of the software. I'll click on next. Next, I'll install the directory support. And this should be able to complete the installation. When in here, I'll click on once memory reboot later. Finish. When I've done that, I need to restart. No, I need to shut down the virtual machine PC, or power off this virtual machine. When you've done that, you need to go to settings. Now, this is the most important bit you need to remember. When you go to settings, you need to click on. You need to make sure that you click on display, and then you need to change the RAM memory to 128 megabytes. I'll enable 3D acceleration. Next, click on OK. When you've done that, you need to click on start to start our virtual machine at this point. Enter to install. To start Windows normally. When we boot, MGR screen pops up, and this is starting up Windows, and you can see everything should be working perfectly fine, as you can see here. And I think that it should be fully working fine. It's logging on. It is going to be complete. To go, you should be able to enable the Windows desktop. All we need to do is we need to click on personalize, and then we need to click on the error theme, but I need to check because there's an error. Enable preventing our computers from enabling error theme. Or check the video driver settings and multiple arrow if with the WDM. With the car driver, there's no support error or effects. What we want to do is we need to. Oh, I can now full screen this. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to start. Next, I'll type in. No, I need to first customize the title bars first, and the icons as well for continuing with the Windows 7 experience. I'll hit apply and OK, and then next what we want to do is we need to click on the window color, click on the drop down, click on the active title bar. Once done that, you will need to decrease it to 19 pixels per size. Apply, and this should be able to work. Okay, and this is the correct setting that you must do before you continue with the installation. But also was good as well for the size. But what I can do is we need to enable the now I found an option. We can search a device manager dvmgmt.msc, enter. Once you've done that, you need to scroll down to the bottom of the list and services. No, not that. I mean, you need to expand those areas each by each until you find the graphics adapter. I would find those a display adapter. I need to find this, and then I'll right click and update driver software, and I'll search for it, and it should be updating software the drivers. No, it still cannot update it. What we need to do is we need to install this driver manually. I'll go to my C drive, Windows, program files, and then I need to click on the Oracle Virtual Box guest editions. Now we need to still continue with the basic thing, but that's pretty much it of customizing the Windows desktop, the Windows 7 desktop first. What we need to do is we need to install the Windows 7 update Windows 7 updates and patches for the system. What I'm going to do is we're going to search for Windows 7 updates and patches, etc. Windows 7 updates and patches, downloads, enter. Click on enter. And you need to make sure that Service Pack 1 is installed on your Windows 7 virtual machine. Or if you have a PC that you use as a primary daily PC, which is running Windows 7, then it should be good to go. But if you're doing on a real PC, which is your main PC, or even your test PC, then you should do it with caution. But caution is not necessary, you can do it whichever you like, but you still need to add caution because the updates etc. will sometimes cause problems. That's why you should be careful. Okay, and then you need to make sure that it should be able to begin with Service Pack 1 and when we're list. Now, yes, there we go, top of this. There we go, and this now works. I would need to install Service Pack 1 onto the system because this is pretty much important, to install those. And next, I'll download it from the Microsoft Download software. I'll go to this link, and then you need to or you need to install this update, and then next you need to download this update. You can see here, you'll find those links. You need to check the SHA1 code before you commit to download this updates. Next, or you can download, and then you need to make sure that you download this. When you're doing that, you need to share a folder, which you need to share a folder with. Next, I will share this folder, and then I will type in Windows 7 Service Pack 1. I would drag and drop this update folder down into the folder, and then when it's in that, I will just move this folder into the VirtualBox file and folders. I'll double click it, and then it should be able to further work. I forgot to extract those into this folder. Move those into the folder. I'll move those. Next, I'll create a new folder, and then I'll type in this Win7 SP1. Next, I would then drag and drop this onto this folder. What we're going to do next is we need to just create a shared folder. We're going to go to devices. We're going to go to shared folders, shared folder settings. Once within that, we need to click on the path, the folder icon in the path, and the folder path. So to over. And when you're done that, you need to go to desktop, and then you go to your own Windows 7 Service Pack 1 folder. Another one. No. I'll click on open, and I'll regionally automatically make a parameters. Okay. Again. Next, I also need to add the network icon for this to work. Go to personalize, just as icons, and then I'll click on add the network. Next, when you do that, you'll go to this network icon. Next, you can click change, turn on network discovery. Turn on network discovery, and it should be able to find the local network for our system. No. It still did not work. There's also drag and drop feature. This is a new one. On older version of VirtualBox, you still cannot, like 5.x, 4.x, 6.x, even that. You cannot drag and drop the files and the folders to the virtual machine windows. To the virtual machine window, you cannot do that. This is a completely new method of doing this, as I'm used to sharing files and folders, and not being able to drag and drop the files which you need. Next, also by directed to call, I can now be able to extract this folder into the Windows 7 desktop. There we go, it's now worked perfectly fine. I would then go ahead, and now it's still on my Mac. I'll delete this file. I'll install the Service Pack 1. This is not accessible to my computer. What I can do is we need to still install the Service Pack 1 update. Now I'll resize this window, This method I'm showing you right now, no, not the update itself, only the VirtualBox method, is that it's completely new and many users are used to, especially technicians and YouTubers like I am, are used to sharing files and folders to the virtual machine and find the network path and find the correct path of the network and then accessing the folder there. We are both used to that, but the drag and drop feature is completely new in this version. But what I still can do is we need to download another update for Windows 7. No, Windows 7 6.1. I need to download that. I'll download the 64-bit version here, and then next I'll go to this. I'll scroll down. I'll download the multi-language supporting, and then I'll download this. You should be able to wait for it to download. I'll also show this link in the description box below, which you can access it and you can download this link. It is made on the 9th of November 2021. But with that, they should be able to create it on the February of 2021 because most people were demanding for Windows 7 6.1 installation and all of their methods have failed, I think. But this is a new feature of the website, and it should be able to download. Now, allow it to download because most of all of us have faced difficulties downloading this Suspect 1 installer in the past, but even in 2021 when this was published, only a fewer people tested the software, but over time it gained popularity. That's how their previous method dominate and then decrease as newer efficient methods come by. And I'll drag this onto my desktop first. Okay this. Instead that, I'll drag and drop this onto my desktop. And then next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the ISO files folder. No, not that. So, I mean the virtual machine files, which I need to do. I'll click on this, and then I'll delete this. I'll move this to the bin. I'll drag this to the window, and then I'll delete this from the bin. I'll delete this from the bin. I'll right click, and then I'll empty the bin, and then it should be able to empty the bin, and it should be able to select the items correctly fine. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop this in a window into the desktop. What I want you to do is we need to go. I'm still dragging this onto the desktop of Windows 7. Now this is also a new feature. You can also do this similar to VMware and even Virtual PC, even with Basic. Virtual boxes also have this feature implemented in their systems. And I will show the next step once I've done that. I'll power my virtual machine, go to the launchpad, go to my Oracle VirtualBox window, which we're going to open. And then next we're going to need to install the updates and patches for the operating system. I'll start virtual machine. It should be starting up. Wait for it to come up. Now it has an error code. I would need to discard this process. Next we go to settings, then I'll go to system. No. Only TPM is no, not TPM. It's only for Windows 11. Oh, I'm focusing on Windows 7 for this tutorial. Instead, we would ignore this. Instead, I'll go to the processors and I'll enable PAE/NX. In acceleration, I'll enable this version. Next, okay. Now we're going to start. There we go. It's now starting up. And I'll press enter, then I will start Windows normally, as you can see here. And then next we're going to need to wait. What I'm going to do is I'm going to install the Windows 7 Service Pack 1 onto the system. Go to here, then I'll install Windows 7 Service Pack 1. Apply, and I'll click on this confirm to installation process. I'll close this up. Next, and then I'll